Coming up on today's show, we're going to be breaking down some edge/defensive line targets for the Crimson Tide in this 2026 recruiting cycle. Now, we'll make note as well, some of these guys, could be bandits, could be interior defensive linemen. I think a lot of them, definitely Alabama, once they get some of these guys on campus, signed in this class anyways, I think they can then kind of decide whether or not they want to go that bandit role or that inside. And maybe even, during their career at Alabama, they could switch things up as well. So, just because maybe somebody is listed as a bandit, they might also be able to even go to the wolf spot as well. So you never really know what could happen, but we got a couple guys that we're going to talk about for those two position groups here on today's show. Defensive line, definitely a big priority for Alabama in this 2026 recruiting cycle. So if you guys want Alabama to sign another top 5 class here in the 2026 recruiting cycle, help me out. Go ahead and drop a like on today's video. All right, the first two guys that I just want to talk about a little bit are Jamarion Matthews and Kamhariyan Johnson. Both of these guys are already committed to Alabama. We'll see here if they stay committed throughout this process. But both of these guys have official visits already set up to Tuscaloosa coming up here on June 6th through the 8th. They'll both be in town on the exact same weekend. Kamhariyan Johnson is a guy that, man, I really do think is going to be a riser here in this 2026 recruiting cycle. 6'3", 262 pounds. I think he's a guy that could play bandit, or you can bulk him up a little bit more, get him on the interior. I think Jamarion Matthews, definitely probably a guy, 6'2", 240 pounds. That is probably going to be at that bandit spot. But also, you never know what could happen. Might also be a candidate, to possibly flex out to that wolf position as well. Looking at what Alabama has right now on their roster, what they could possibly lose after this season. Tim Keenan, he's a redshirt senior. He's going to be gone to the NFL. He's probably one of the best interior defensive linemen in college football right now. James Smith, only a junior, but man, if he continues to progress like we saw last season for him, I think he's a candidate to also go off to the NFL draft. You're going to be losing LT Overton, Quade Russaw at that wolf spot. He's only a redshirt sophomore, but he is eligible for the draft, and I do think he is a guy that can be a very, very high riser in this 2026 draft class as well. Jamarion Latham, obviously he's a grad student right now, came back for his very last season of eligibility for Alabama. Going from that bandit spot, he lost a little bit of weight to the wolf spot. We'll see what happens with him. I'm a little bit worried in terms of them asking him to drop back in pass coverage. But, when you lose a little bit of weight, you do get a little bit quicker and more athletic. So, I do like Jamarion Latham as well, but, there's a potential that you're going to be losing 5 guys here along your defensive line, throw that wolf spot in there as well. So, I would assume that Alabama probably going to go after at least 2 wolves in this class. 2 of the top names right now that the Crimson Tide are going after. Anthony Jones, the number 2 player, number 3 player, somewhere around there, kind of shifts back and forth a little bit in the state of Alabama. Definitely one of the top priorities for the Crimson Tide in this class. And then Xavier Griffin, a guy that we've been talking about a lot here. Alabama also going after him at that wolf spot. I've seen a lot of comparisons to a guy like Jahad Campbell for Xavier Griffin. So you remember Jahad Campbell came in as an edge rusher. Alabama moved him to that linebacker spot. See what happens with Xavier Griffin, but I do definitely think he fits the bill to be one of those, big candidates for that wolf spot for Kane Wommack's defense. And then Anthony Jones, also 6'4", 250 pounds. He's also a guy that I think could play the wolf, but also he's already pretty big, going into his senior season in high school, so he could also play that bandit position as well. It's just kind of going to depend on what Alabama has, what are the needs, and just kind of what this coaching staff thinks that they need him, going forward. If, obviously they get him in this class. A couple other wolf targets for the Crimson Tide. You got Jaquez Wilkes. He's a number 81 player overall, also a 4-star. Kamhariyan Brooks, number 113 overall, number 14 edge in this class. And then Kevin Ford also in that top 120 at 117 overall, number 15 edge in this class as well. Alabama's been going after really hard after a lot of these guys. And all of these guys also have official visits set up here with the Crimson Tide this summer. You got Anthony Jones. He'll be in town on June 20th. Alabama will get the last visit for him. That is very noteworthy because usually that last visit really, does push the needle for some of those guys. Xavier Griffin, Jaquiz Wilkes, and Kamari Brooks, all will be in town on the same weekend, June 6th through the 8th. And then KJ Ford will be during that first official visit window here with the Crimson Tide from May 30th to June 2nd. So get down in the comments section and name a top edge rusher in this 2026 class for Alabama. Who's your favorite edge rusher? Let me know what you guys think at the pinned comment of today's video. All right, so when it comes to the interior of the defensive line, kind of Bandit and, defensive tackles, Nolan Wilson, definitely one of the best defensive linemen in this class. I think Alabama's going to go after either 4 to 5, maybe they go with 3, get somebody out of the transfer portal who really knows exactly, what's going to happen. A lot of things can shift around, but Nolan Wilson, definitely a guy that Alabama is really pushing after hard right now. Number 58 overall, number 6 defensive lineman, number 3 player out of the state of Mississippi. We all know Alabama loves to recruit the state of Mississippi as well. So we'll see what happens with him. 6'4", 240 pounds. Could be a Bandit candidate. Who knows? Maybe you get him in here and add another 30 pounds onto him as well. Maybe he could play that interior, but I do think he stacks up really nicely to be a possible Bandit for Alabama. These are also the official visits that Wilson has set up already. Texas A&M, Alabama here coming up on their first weekend of official visits, May 30th through June 1st. He's got official visits to Auburn, Ole Miss, and USC as well. USC has definitely been one of those teams that, have really been throwing the bag around here in this recruiting cycle. But, they don't really pay attention to defense that much, with Lincoln Riley there. So, who knows what could happen with USC, but they already lost Xavier Griffin in this class. You never know, he might end up recommitting to USC, but, when it comes to Nolan Wilson here, he does have those 5 official visits set up. We'll see if Alabama can really do a number when he gets in town for his official visit there. Now, are you guys still in need for a Father's Day gift? Well, you are in luck. You guys can get the Alabama Crimson Tide Scenic Polos just by going to chatsports.com/Bama Polo. That is from our friends over there at Fanatics. I really love this shirt. It really does scream Father's Day to me. It's got a lot of different things around town. It's got the stadium, different buildings on campus. And I think, Stone, I figured it out what exactly that thing is. I think it's something that's on campus. I think it's a statue that's on campus that I really, haven't really paid attention or seen much before. But if somebody can confirm what the heck this thing is in the comment section, I would absolutely appreciate that from you guys. You got Diddy Chimes on there as well. I think it's a really cool shirt. Really does scream Father's Day, and that's coming up very soon. So just go over to chatsports.com/Bama Polo. I'll put that link in the comment section and the description of today's video. So if you guys want to get it, you can go down there and get it today. All right, let's continue on here to some more interior defensive line targets. Titan Davis, number 99 overall, definitely going to be a guy that I think can, rise in this class once these guys get through their senior season and everything. Elijah Golden as well. He's listed right now at number 34 overall, but, when we continue to talk about these guys, it kind of goes for everybody. This Alabama coaching staff has shown that they've done a very, very good job in evaluating talent. So, number 13 defensive lineman, number 99 overall, just kind of seems like to me there's a lot of really good defensive linemen in this class. So, also, number 2 player out of the state of Missouri, number 26 player out of the state of Florida for Elijah Golden as well. Golden, 6'4", 260 pounds. I think he's a guy that you could play on the interior. Titan Davis, 6'5", 238 pounds. So, really tall. They can definitely fill his body size out a lot more. I think both of those guys could probably play on the interior, but I think Davis, probably a Bandit candidate. Golden, probably both, honestly, could probably play interior and that Bandit spot. All right, 2 more guys here, Emmanuel Ruffin and Preston Carey as well. Both of these guys definitely probably, that probably doesn't make any sense, definitely probably. I think probably are going to be interior candidates. Emmanuel Ruffin, 6'4", 290 pounds. Preston Carey, 6'5", 300 pounds. So they've already got that body mass on them. So, these are definitely going to be two more players that I think Alabama are going to go after in terms of that interior of the defensive line. So let me know here in the comments section of today's show, how many defensive linemen do you think Alabama will sign in this class? Type O for over, type U for under. I'm setting the line at 4.5 right now. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section of today's show. We got a couple more guys that I want to talk about as well. All right, two more guys, Tyson Bacon and J.J. Finch. Now, Tyson Bacon at one point was committed to Tennessee. He decommitted not too long ago, and, he is from the state of Alabama. Alabama would definitely love to get him in this class, just outside of the top 300, but when you look at his potential, I think this guy's going to be really, really good. 6'3", 263 pounds. Could play Bandit or bulk him up a little bit more, play that interior. And then J.J. Finch, he is a 3-star right now, but, kind of going back to a guy like London Simmons last year. He was, lower rated going into his senior season, and he had an incredible season. So I just always want to point that out, just because somebody might be lower rated. He's number 2 player in the state of Indiana as well, 6'3", 260 pounds. He's got a good body size. It's just all about being able to go out there in his senior season and put that production on the field. The last 6 guys that we talked about here all have official visits set up with Alabama. Titan Davis, he's going to be in town May 30th through June 1st. Elijah Golden, June 13th through the 15th. Emmanuel Ruffin during that last official visit window for Alabama, June 20th through the 22nd. Preston Carey, I believe the 17th through the 19th there would be a midweek visit. That might actually be like a Thursday or something like that. Let me look just real quick on the fly here. June 17th is a Tuesday, so that would be a midweek visit for Preston Carey. Got a couple guys, there during that midweek time frame, and then Tyson Bacon June 13th through the 15th, and then J.J. Finch will be on campus May 30th through June 1st.